What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a very, very special episode of the Turnpike Titans podcast. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts again, which is very good. Vinny is back with us, and Jared, of course. And we're in a position today that if you told me 3 weeks ago we would be in, I would laugh in your face. But, folks, it happened. The Tennessee Titans are the number one seed in the AFC, and they will be getting a bye and going straight to the divisional round. Fellas, that deserves
what a time to be alive.
Really, it does.
What a time to be alive.
Day. I mean, last time this happened, I was 15 years old. I don't want to bring up some bad memories because that didn't turn out as we had hoped, but nevertheless, it's been a long time coming for this team. And boy, oh boy, it never ends. The resilience this team shows whenever we think things are going to start going downhill, they just push that ball right up at the top of the hill. This one was a little dicey, as I not knew, but thought it could possibly be. But at the end of the day, they fight back and get it done. Vinny, why don't you start us off on your takeaways from this game, which led us to that top seed?
First, I want to thank you guys for holding it down for me last week while I, had to be with my family. I want to thank everyone who's, said a prayer for my pops. He's on the road to recovery, albeit a long one, but he is he's gonna get better. So keep praying for him, and thank you guys for holding it down last week. And,
of course,
on a Titans related note, I like you said, Sal, 4 or 5 weeks ago, this seemed like we were a little more doomed than gloom. I think Jared said, we're staring 10-7 and the wild card round right in the face. Yep. And it looked like that was possible, but we won 4 out of 5. We got a little help from the Chiefs losing. So I say we got some help from the Bengals, but we handled our own business. None of this was possible without us winning, the last 4 out of 5. And, like you said, Sal, as yesterday, I kind of had the feeling too that, they very rarely make it easy on us.
Very.
So once it was 21-10, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. But, that drive by Tannehill where we got Julio's first touchdown as a Titans was a big boy drive. Let his balls drop a little bit, and it was a big win. And, Jared quoted me on Twitter. I've always said a win is a win is a win. So,
shout the boy out. No for shout out,
yeah,
man.
Exactly. So, they don't tell you whether the win was a blowout or you had to eke it out because it all counts the same, So, we looked good. I think we're going to need to play better in the playoffs because, you get a 21-0 lead against a team that isn't the Houston Texans, it's hard to win those kind of games in the playoffs if, you take your foot off the gas and let teams stay in games because you're not playing the Texans in the playoffs, you're playing playoff caliber teams. So, there was, we won. That's most important. We get an extra week for Henry to get some rest, but, it's hard to complain, with the fact that we have a 1 seed, but, it could have been a better performance, but all in all, we did our job. And, on to the next in 2 weeks.
You got it. Sure.
Listen, yesterday's game was a little sloppy. We'll all admit it. We all got the little scare in the third quarter, but, turned out our way. Our boy, we criticized him for a couple weeks now, and Sal was the biggest critic.
Yep.
Tannehill dropped his fucking nutbag in the second quarter. I mean, the second half of that game, even the whole game, the last 2 games, he has 7 touchdowns, I think. That's what, and his pass rating is 123. Credit to him down the stretch right now, leading this team when we need it, especially going into the playoffs right now. And yesterday, another clean game by the offensive line, 0 sacks. The tight end group, I was, skeptic this whole season, has stepped up the last. The last couple of weeks, I think they got 3 touchdowns. And Ferkser's been stepping up recently in recent weeks, so I'm very happy with that. But going into the playoffs right now, not letting up 2 sacks and your offensive line is being cohesive, and that's huge down the stretch right now. Me and Sal talked about it last week. We wanted to see the ball getting thrown down the field a lot. Julio Jones got involved. everything's heading in the right direction now going towards the playoffs. So I'm very happy as a fan.
Yeah. I mean, the first half of this game was just absolutely stellar in every phase. The Titans defense continued to be the Titans defense, allowing 0 points. We started throwing the ball deep, something that both of you know, and probably everyone, is what I've wanted for so long. I know the haters, tell me if you don't have a good offensive line or good pass protection, it's impossible to throw down the field. There's no way you can do it. It's literally NFL rule, but clearly that wasn't the case. Pass protection did an excellent job for the most part yesterday. Yesterday. So I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't be happier. Defense slipped up a little in the second half. They admitted it. Kevin Byard said it himself. He kind of just fell asleep at the wheel a little in the second half. But Jesus Christ, I mean, what do you can't just expect the defense to be, absolutely dominant for every single quarter of every game, because essentially they have for the past 3 weeks. So, or most of the second half of the year. So I'm not worried about that at all. And it was a fantastic win. I can't be happier with the way Ryan Tannehill played. I mean, really, you look at the way this offense is run. Regardless of whether or not we get a run game going, it seems as if one of two things happens when we do play action. Number one, the protection always seems incredibly, or not incredible, but a lot better when we fake a handoff first. Like, it just seems like the protection's always better when it starts with play action. And number two, he throws the ball much better in play action. Like,
that's his stats don't lie.
And I've said this last year, and I said it a lot. I mean, damn near close to religiously. Every time he throws the ball, he should just pretend like he's handing it off. He's got the best running back in the world. There's no rule that says that you can only do play action like 50% of the time that you're going to throw. You can do it every fucking time. And every time he does it, he gets more time in the pocket, and he's better, and better things happen. And, I think they should just do that every single time they're going to throw the ball. But we'll see how that plans out. Todd Downing, I think, had a much better game. Second half, I think he went away from what was working, as he seems to do every single week. But I'm not going to harp on that because we scored a lot of points again. And he started getting creative in the second half. And I'm just going to hope and pray that we see the best of him moving forward this month and hopefully next month. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hope and pray. But moving on from that, I think that that play by Ryan when he eluded that sack, I mean, that's what you see from Russell Wilson. That's what you see from Patrick Mahomes. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes elude a tackle like that. I mean, it was just incredible to see him do that, especially a guy like me who's been claiming and preaching how he's a play executor, not a playmaker. And sure enough, ever since that pod dropped, the last 2 weeks, he has been a playmaker. So I don't know what it is. Like, I call out Jeff Simmons. He starts playing like a fucking Pro Bowler. It sucks he didn't make it, but he should have made it. And the last 5 weeks called out Tannehill. And now he's playing like,
we got something going on with this pod, man.
I don't know.
Ferkser too. He's got
I don't
3
know.
touchdowns in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, who's left to call out now? I mean, we got to decide who we're going to call out because now it matters most.
That fuck we got kicking the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we call out Downing. Unfortunately, he's not really answering that bell, at least enough for me. But again, I don't want to be Debbie Downer. But I'm so excited for Tannehill now. This is the game that we needed from him. Really, really needed from him in so many levels to get the bye, to go into a playoff game with confidence in our quarterback, to throw the rock. Julio Jones is getting involved now. I mean, really, you could not have asked for a better finale outside of letting them come back than we got yesterday. So I'm very much elated about this whole thing. Let's jump into the heroes and villains, Tighten ups, Tighten downs, however you want to say it, of this game. There's a plethora to choose from on the Tighten up side. Tighten down, I don't know. I mean, you could throw some names out there that maybe we're not used to hearing, but there's a few guys that didn't have their best performance. But Jared, why don't you start us off for who you give the game ball to and who you think needs to slap in the face?
Game ball, I'm gonna say Tannehill, no doubt. He put his nuts on the line going into that, big drive that we needed, and he stepped up all day yesterday, which was nice to see. And the Titan down, I would have to say, had to be Bullock. In recent weeks, he's been missing a couple. We need his leg in the playoffs if we're going to be coming down to tight games. And that's really it.
Yeah, Vin.
I'll echo that sentiment because that's exactly who I had. I I was thinking about going with Julio. He got his first touchdown. He had 50, 60 yards, but you can't not give it to Tannehill. He stepped up, made that big play. He had that big boy drive at the end of the game when Houston was coming back, to put us up by 2 possessions again. And hopefully this is, just what's, to come in the playoffs. Hopefully this is just a preview of what's to come in the next few weeks. And, I think if you told Titans fans that we'd have a first round bye with Henry to come back and everyone really healthy, I mean, it's kind of worked out perfect for us. So the rest is up to them. But as far as the Titan down, that's got to be Bullock. I mean, I've been harsher on him than most these last basically the whole year. I just kind of never trusted him. He was pretty dog shit in Cincinnati when he was there. He's missed 6 kicks now this year, and none of them were, when you're kicking inside 50, I mean, as an NFL kicker, you have to be making it.
And that inside too.
Yeah, and that one he pushed yesterday wasn't even fucking close.
No,
I mean,
terrible.
Just I don't know, like it's frustrating too because the guy's made big kicks. So I mean, it's a very mental position. I just hope that if need be, he shows up for us because how many times have games and Super Bowls been won and lost on the foot of a kicker. So, as frustrating as it may sound, sometimes your best players can play well, but at the end of the day, sometimes, the game lies on the foot of a chubby little man. So, I'll give him the Titan down, and hopefully, Sal, I think you need to throw some shade at him because it seems to work. Whenever you throw shade at anybody, they seem to step up. So even if he isn't your villain, he needs to be now. So
yes, I'll throw him in the mix there, definitely. But I got another one that I think some of us might have overlooked, but he definitely needs to be mentioned here. I'm going to switch it up a little for my Titan up. Nick Westbrook, Keena, 5 targets, 4 receptions for 80 yards.
Good one.
I mean, this guy's really, honestly, I'm feeling really good right now as the third option with him.
Absolutely.
Seems every week he gets better and better. You listen to Vrabel talk about him. He talks about him like he's the best thing since sliced bread. So he does that with pretty much everyone in the organization, but that's besides the point. He's a good kid. It looks like he's got his great head on his shoulders. And he had a great game. And that catch, as much as it was Tannehill, it was him making still not just acting like the play was over, like A.J. Brown basically admitted, like, I wasn't even looking to get open because I thought he was sacked. And Nicky was still moving around. He got open, and, he deserves a lot, leading receiver of the game. So I definitely got to give him a 9 on that. As far as the Titan down, I still love him as a player, but you got to throw Molden in the mix there. I mean, Danny Amendola was just turning back the clocks yesterday, looking like he was, his rookie year or whatever the fuck year he was with New England. Doing good things. He was with New England, right?
Yeah, he's with the Rams and then New England.
Yeah,
and then
he was looking. I don't think he's had more than 20 yards in a single game in like 5 years. So I think he ended with like 140 or whatever. And from what I saw, it looked like that was Molden's pretty much task most of the day was to keep him intact in the slot, and he wasn't able to do that. But at the end of the day, he's still trending in a very good direction. I'm not worried about him. And yes, that fat shit Randy Bullock needs to get his shit together. He's going to listen, whether it's a game-winning kick or it's a kick that's going to have huge implications in this game, in this divisional round, and hopefully in this AFC championship, and hopefully in the Super Bowl. This guy's going to have to make a kick that's going to have huge implications in the game. It's just how it is. I don't foresee us blowing out any team that we're going to face in these next, hopefully, 3 games. Definitely think we have great chances to win. But you and I, all 3 of us know it's very rare that, the Titans, just blow out a really good team with the exception of KC and the Rams, which is more of a defensive turnover kind of. And, now we can say the Chief game was kind of an anomaly. They decided to become the Chiefs again after that game. So with that being said, Bullock is going to have to make some kicks to really help us.
And they keep extra points too. There are no
Yeah.
gimmies nowadays.
Yeah, they're
you know?
not. They're not. We've been
So-
very lucky, knock on wood. He's been
Yeah.
fairly good with the extra points. I think he's only missed 2 all year. So
I'm glad we play home. So I mean, at least
Yeah.
he'll proud, being very silent, and he can, have the peace of mind of kicking at home. But he just yeah, you get on the edge of your seat with this guy, man, and I just don't feel comfortable. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
we'll definitely have to see how that plays out. So we're gonna move forward now, and you got a plethora of different options as far as how things are going to go in this divisional round. Now, ever since last night, I've been saying a prayer just about every hour that the Pittsburgh Steelers can somehow find a way to knock off the Chiefs, because God almighty, wouldn't it be great to start off our division round against a team like Pittsburgh when we know damn well we should have destroyed them without all of our star players, and it looks like we're going to have them for our first playoff game. So is that going to happen? No, definitely not. I think there's a better chance of Christ walking the earth again than that happening, but that would be my ideal situation. But there are some other teams like it looks like I think it would either be
New England or Oakland would be our best bet.
Yes, but I think the options
It's New England, Cincy, the Raiders, and the Steelers. Those are the only options.
Those are the only options. But who would I mean, it seems like let's put the Steelers aside, because that's not going to happen. Outside of the Steelers, who would your ideal opponent be in that divisional round?
I'm going
for Jared, either one.
I'm going for the Patriots. I want the Patriots again. The Cleveland, I mean not Cleveland, the Cincinnati Bengals got a very scary offense right now, and the Raiders defense has been stepping up in recent weeks. So they're a little, shaky little team, but Carr has been in the playoffs yet. I mean, neither has Burrow, but we'll see. But I really want a good look at the Patriots again after what they did to us up in Foxborough, and we just return the favor with our healthy squad, hopefully, at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. If I had a choice, I would hope for New England, just because I think they're a good team. I don't think they're there yet. I think Mac Jones has still got a ways to go. Offensively, they don't terrify you. I think you to beat them, you just sell out to stop the run and make Mac Jones try to beat you. Defensively, they do scare you, and obviously, the hoodie monster Bill Belichick's always an ace in the pocket. So, who knows what he would have, drummed up for us. But I would prefer to play them first. And if not them, I wouldn't mind playing Oakland. I think they're good.
Yeah, that would be too.
Yeah, I don't, just for the sole fact that I don't want to get in a shootout with Cincinnati. Although I don't think they are there yet either.
No.
Yeah, I'd much rather play Oakland. I can't. Last night I was saying it was San Diego versus Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd much rather play Vegas. But yeah, if it was up to me, I'd play New England just because I don't know. I think they're very beatable. But I don't see them getting past Buffalo. But not to get ahead of myself, I would love to see Buffalo and Kansas City beat the shit out of each other in the divisional round, and then we could pick up the scraps from that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
I mean, even if we do play Cincinnati too, their offensive line is very shaky, and their front seven on the defense is very shaky too. So I mean, it's hit or miss, but that offense is very scary.
Yeah, I don't want any piece of Cincinnati. Listen, it's not going to be a cakewalk no matter what.
No,
okay, you know what I mean? We're going to have to face a bunch of good teams. We're going to have to face the Chiefs. We're going to have to face whoever the best of the best is. We're going to have to face them. I'm just saying, personally speaking, the first round of the teams that are available, I don't want any piece of Cincinnati because they're just so explosive offensively. And, it's just about Burrow in big moments that just scares the shit out of me. I think 100% with the Steelers out of the picture because they don't have any shot of beating KC. New England would be a great choice. And another, like you guys said, Vegas is another good choice too, because frankly, Vegas hasn't been scoring a whole lot lately. I think if you look on the past 4 games, they've averaged like just under 20 points. So I think a normal defensive performance from us, I think we should be able to handle them pretty soundly. But yeah, New England would be number 1. Vegas would be number 2. And then everyone else, they're going to be the folks that hopefully we're going to have to find in the AFC Championship game. I think it would be ideal. I think our best direct line to the Super Bowl would be, again, outside of the Steelers, would be in New England and then Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. I think, since we have film on them still, even though we have film on KC too, but that's not the same KC team we're going to be facing. This is a pretty similar Buffalo team that we're going to be seeing when we did beat them because, again, we beat them on the goal line at the end of the game. So I definitely think the best catapult to the Super Bowl would be New England and then Buffalo. We'll see how things play out. But the beautiful thing is we can watch the games next week with a nice drink and a nice, with the couch under our feet, knowing that, we're getting our best player in the world back and we're going right to the next round. So that's ideal.
But one of my good friends, actually, not to cut you off, texted me yesterday. So who do you want to win tonight? And I said, honestly, dude, as a Titans fan, I really don't give a shit. And I think most Titans fans feel the same way because guess what? We have it all set up for us. We got the bye. It's coming through Nashville. Henry will be back. And not only will Henry be back, but it seems like we are going to be as close to as 100% healthy as we've been all year. Yeah. So, we're going to have to play a tough team eventually, but, that's out of our control. What we could control is what we could control. And guess what? We got the 1 seed. It's coming through Nashville. We got Henry coming back. And, most teams are limping this time of year. And we seem like we're going to be healthier than most this time of year. So, it's all in front of us for the taking. So there's zero excuses.
Of course. Absolutely. Of course. And, frankly, if we're going to just be honest, as a Titan fan, if your friend asked me, I would have wanted to tie because, you don't want to give Kansas City such a fucking, T-ball in the first round. Yeah. Either of those two teams last night, I think definitely could have made it interesting for Kansas City in the first round. For sure. Which actually, no, it would have been Vegas if they tied. So that would have been, I think they would have given them a run for their money. But we'll see. TJ Watt, he's a game wrecker.
See what happens, man.
The best of the best.
Especially in football too. I mean, I don't wish injury on anyone. I really don't. We might joke about it at times, but look what fucking happened to Mahomes last year against Cleveland. He got knocked the fuck out of that game. So crazier things have happened. I mean, who gave us a chance to beat Kansas City in KC when Mariota was the quarterback? You know what I mean? So who gave us a chance to beat Baltimore in Baltimore in the divisional round? I mean, nobody was even giving us a chance to beat New England. Yeah. So, I mean, anything can fucking happen. I mean, in football, you're one good play or bad play away from, the game changing drastically. So, and they're extremely well coached. You got to get Tomlin, I think, is the second best coach in the league behind Belichick, in my opinion. I put Andy Reid and Harbaugh and obviously our boy Vrabel up there. But, I mean, listen, they're well coached. I give Roethlisberger credit. He looked like a complete fucking joke and has turned it around just a little bit. And they can run the ball and play defense. So, I mean, crazier things have happened. If they're not going to win, I hope it's a very physical, long game.
Yeah, so we'll see how things shape up. Anything is possible. The saying is any given Sunday. I don't know if that really would apply to the Steelers, but anything's possible. That would be God. I mean, there would be just parties in the streets in Nashville. Somehow Pittsburgh pulled that off. But it's the fun thing about it. We can watch and enjoy it without really knowing what's going to happen, and we'll be able to prepare for whoever we wind up getting, and we'll be able to go from there. So I'm excited for this weekend. It's uncharted territory for me because, again, you guys are just a smidge older, but I was 15 the last time Tennessee had a bye, and as absolutely devoured into that season I was, and I can still tell you games. I was at the Baltimore game that year in Baltimore when we beat them. Oh, you were there too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I think we might have talked about that actually.
And then I was at the playoff game in Nashville, LP Field when they lost to Flacco there too.
Oh God, when Aldrich Crumple fumbled inside the 5.
Yeah. Chris Johnson got hurt. All that shit.
We've had enough nightmares this season. We don't need to dive into those. But I can't even fathom being the fan that I am now. To be able to watch Wildcard Weekend and be like, hey, man, we're good. We're good to go next week. So, we'll see how things pan out. Got a lot of great games on the slate. With the exception of probably one, but yeah, we'll see how everything plans out. We'll definitely do a show once we know who our opponent is, so we can talk about how we should attack them and what to expect. We can dive into some of the other games and talk about that just to have some things to throw around, and it's going to be great. So as always, however you're listening to this or watching it, whether it be YouTube or any of the platforms, make sure you like, subscribe. We're building a little more traction, but we could definitely do a little bit more. So if you like our show, make sure to give it out to your friends and whatnot, anyone that is a fan of our team, and so we can grow and build and stuff like that. And like I said on previous shows, definitely looking to dive into something a little bit more involved next year, and do some streams, things like that. So we got a lot of fun things planned. Other than that, fellas, you got anything you want to add before we dive into this first round of playoffs, in which we will be relaxing like the gentlemen that we are?
Just whoever we're rooting for, or whoever anybody's rooting for as Titans fans, hopefully that team wins. For me, it's the Patriots. Hopefully the Steelers. We get the Steelers in the second round, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, I honestly bring them all. Fuck them all. Not scared. We got to at full strength. I think Sal has said it time and time over again. At full strength, we are the most complete roster in this league. So if we got the King coming back, that eruption when he has his entrance at Nissan Stadium is going to be one for the ages. So kick back, relax, enjoy this week. Hopefully we stay healthy. Nothing but good news on Henry. Keeps practicing and whatnot. But yeah, enjoy this week off and save energy for next week, because we're going to fucking need to focus all our greasy juju down in Nashville.
That's it. That's it. So yeah, we'll be back next week. As always, tighten up.
Tighten up, fellas.
Winter is now here. Peace.
Yeah,